Hey there. I'm going to talk about Adachi. Adachi was recently added in 2.0. He's a pretty fun character. Let's talk about his buttons for a sec. I'm going to kind of go over real basic baby shit with them. So, starters, buttons. He has 2A, 5A, 5A, 5AA, and then the end of the auto combo is going to be Megidola. He has 2A doesn't go anything, but it could be used 3 times in a route. So you can kind of do this kind of nonsense. He has the 5B series. He has 2B, which on hit will give you a forced kind of JC. So you got something like that going on. 2C is this classic sweep. You have 5C, which is obviously overhead. He has the 4A series. Those are his buttons. Oh, JA as well. I'll go a little bit more into detail with them. JB and JC. His 2 supers are going to be Cross Slash here, which is a single target super. And Atom Smasher, which is a full screen, pretty much anti-zoning projectile type thing. With that in mind, let's go over his jump and throw cancels. Jump cancels are on 4A, 4AA, 5A, 5A, 5B, not 2A, rather. So his throw cancels are on 5A. A little bit harder to time for the, at like that range, but as spaced one, you get the throw cancel very easily. 2A, 4A, kind of the same idea as the 5A, where you want to be a little bit spaced for it to get the tick throw, and 4AA, which is the weirdest one to time properly for a tick throw situation. So kind of stick with like the 2A tick throw, or like a 5A tick throw. His mix-up tools, I guess, rather his non-mids are going to be 2A and 2C. He does not have a grounded overhead. Oh, he does also have 2 lows in the end of the series here, but these are very unsafe. The 4A is not, well, 4AA is not that bad, but you can't really cancel anything else from it, so keep that in mind. 5B is really good. It's our poke. It's the only downside is that it's Persona button, so it will lose to other pokes in a lot of situations. But it's because it is a Persona button, you get the Persona displacement, so you can kind of keep this kind of stuff up if they aren't if they're respecting it too much. So 5BBB here has a gap. It can be used to catch out just like that type of nonsense. With that, generally with this pressure in this situation is going to be between using this into Heat Riser. Heat Riser is -6 on block, and it is a it's really safe in all honesty. It's also gapless with all this. You can contest that by once he blocks. He was holding up back the entire time and could not get out of it. So that's good. Same idea can be said with 5BB2C. So it'll catch him low. You can also go into, from that situation, Heat Riser, but it kind of has a weird combo point. You have to like delay it a little bit, so be wary with that. You can also stagger 5BB and create a little bit more safe confirm from that to catch out up backing. The main reason why you want to catch out up backing is that he doesn't have that strong like mix-up game on the ground, or in general, honestly. So in this situation, you want to be making them respect the concept of just doing like going for a command throw at like this sort of range. So you want them to not be up backing out of this. So in order to do that, going for something like this instead. But yeah, you get the idea. Going for 5A staggers is really nice. This spine is really good for that reason, because you can also go into this. You can also go into stuff like this as well. So yeah, staggering those out is going to be good to catch out mashing or up back or anything like that. Just be aware of all that. those options for you in your buttons. JB is really good. It's a mid though, so you're not really opening people up with this outside of like a cross-up tool. Because of the way they get vacuumed, you get an easy confirm on cross-up. And it has a good cross-up hitbox. But it is a mid, so no opening people up with it. His JA is a decent anti-air. It has low recovery. So it can be used to air sometimes. JC, I'm finding, is really just combo filler. It's not really the strongest tool. But yeah, you can use it if they're, like, with using this recording, if they're, like, up backing a ton. It just, like, kind of doesn't really hit a lot of situations. It's good if they're, like, super jumping, for example. But, like, even then, the follow-up kind of just whips half the time. So yeah, I'm generally avoiding this button as much. Because against most of the air game, we have Azeodyne. And I'll go into specials real quick. Azeodyne is a laser here. It is a persona displacement, like mentioned here. So you can base it off of wherever he is. Heat Riser, we looked at it a little bit earlier. It is a -6 on block move that 2 hits. It does have a good launch on hit, which can buy a lot of space. The you can safe jump from it. It's a little bit inconsistent though, and it's kind of based on how prorated your combos are. So be careful with that one. 214B is strictly combo fodder. You can set it up. Like, you can use the setups with it to create plus on block situations, because this is like roughly +5 on block. I'm not exactly sure if it is +5 per se, but it's definitely around that area. He has B Zeodyne, which is like you saw with Azeodyne there. It just is a little bit there for longer. It's generally unsafe because you can react to it with a laser of their own or a super or anything like that. So you want to make sure it's like safer. So via calling like an assist or setting it up to where you can active switch from it. So like in this type of situation with my team, I'm able to do that. So that way you have Zeodyne covering the back line and Azrael's safe on the switch in. So that's a concept to use with Zeodyne. From here, his command throw we kind of mentioned briefly. It is just a command throw. You get a safe jump from it, which is nice, as well as 236C. 236C basically is just a follow-up tool. And yeah, generally I use it only for combo, because on block it is pretty bad, as we can kind of see here, that if they're set to fast attack and then block it, you can't really do much from it. So it kind of just costs you some life and some bar to be wrong. So yeah, I generally avoid it. Only combo filler for this lad. So those are his specials. His throw, like all throws, are special cancelable, so you're able to get Megidola here, or Zeodyne with a 2A pickup. And you're able to, I would say, alternate between these two to get, depending on what you want. Megidola is going to do more damage. Like in this route, does almost 6k, whereas Zeodyne doesn't get you more screen space. This is not optimal in the slightest, but you can kind of see the difference in the damage department. So, alternate between those. I guess I'll go over his combos first and then go into neutral. So his combos are going to be, you can find them under the tag, on Twitter you can go to #tag_AD, and you'll be seeing a lot of routes. I go for a lot of baby routes, personally, because he has, like, these sort of instant air dash routes. Like, I'm not good at them, so I'm not even going to attempt it. Yeah, he has, like, instant air dash routes that are kind of cool. He builds a lot of screen space using JC. I don't do them personally. These kind of service me enough. So you have generally 3 sorts of enders. The safe jump here from command throw is kind of your go-to for the most part. If you want to get a heat riser buff from like 5A, you just want to do something like this. You can kind of see they're going to tech in the air, so there's no safe jump, and you're generally going to be only slightly plus there. So what I personally like to do from this situation is go for a instant air backdash Azeodyne. You kind of build this space, then you can go for Azeodyne from there. His other ender is going to be, so those 2 of his main enders, in the corner, he's going to have Azeodyne ender, as well as Azeodyne loops. So that gives you a safe jump in the corner only. Rather you can get it mid-screen, it's just a little bit weirder. I personally don't go for it much. Just because generally mid-screen, whenever I'm using Azeodyne, I'm not trying to really get back in, I'm trying to stay farther away. Use a zoner style with it. Also in the corner, he has a safe jump from JC. Messed it up there, but you get the idea. General idea. Usually you'll see it hit meaty, but there's setups with it. I personally don't use it as much because I can just use the Azeodyne to deal with that. But yeah. You can also spin some meter if you want to get a cross-slash Oki. Cross-slash Oki is going to give you a safe jump. If you actually jump. Which is super nice. It's also useful in this situation. It's semi-character dependent. So, example, or actually it's just character dependent. If you get their point character to kill with cross slash, if they're per Blaze Blue or Persona, you're gonna get the Azeodyne to face this way. So it can be really useful to end this to end your combos with this to kill. And then set up for this unseeable 50-50. So that's a concept. It's, again, character dependent. I have a chart of it that I can post, like, I'll post it like right here. And so you can kind of see it there. Alright, it's gone. The benefits of doing the specific enders is going to be mainly that Heat Riser is going to give you that space, like we mentioned, to get Azeodyne out. Which is super nice. 214C is going to be probably your main ender. That's going to give you a safe jump. Heat Riser also gives you that space and it gives you extra damage. So like you saw, Heat Riser there did 21-21, but now it's going to do a little bit more. So getting that damage buff and then going to zoning could be a little bit more rewarding for getting a Azeodyne. Because Azeodyne regularly gives, well, with the Heat Riser gives 23-45. This gives 21. So that little bit extra chip or just general damage is going to be kind of nice. Especially is rewarding where if you get like a hit. So example is if you convert from zoning into like a 5A starter, now your combo from earlier is going to do like 8,000 damage. Yeah. It also can make some routes like just do way more damage. Like for example, if you want to spin the bar, you can do something like this. Now you're doing almost 10,000. I'm sure there's a way you can do, like Adachi just pretty much implied. You're pretty sure you can do more than 10,000. Optimize your combos. But if they're a little bit too hard, just make sure you're getting the Oki at least. I'm focusing priority on Oki because I'd rather just not lose my turn for missing an air dash or anything like that to just reset to neutral instead. I'd rather just get my Oki and roll with it. So something to know about his combos is that he's a character that has a single target and a multi-target hit. So whenever you do, if you do cross slash like you saw earlier, it's gonna do a lot of damage. But if you do something like Atom Smasher for your ender, you're gonna see do way less damage. However, because it's a multi-hit move, it also gives you the ability to Happy Birthday, where otherwise for cross slash they'll drop out. So Adachi's gonna have some problems when it comes to Happy Birthday routes, because whenever you use enhance, Atom Smasher, depending if you have like assist like that happen, then it's just gonna not come back in time to get the hit. So what you can do instead is use Mandala to get a pickup, like so. Something like that could be your route. It's going to vary again from team to team, but the general premise is going to be using, in this regard, using Azrael's 6P to get additional time from Mandala. Because in like this situation, you're still going to get the regular pickup, and you won't be able to super. But if you do it while they're airborne, you can do something like super. Whereas if I just do regular Mandala into super, this is just not going to combo. Like you see there. So let's talk about his neutral a little bit. His neutral is generally going to revolve around like Azeodyne and getting, kind of checking people for approaching if they block it with using 5B. Or using like your anti-air. So like this example, if I block this, sometimes the persona will trade. I can also go for my own persona poke and kind of get these like clash situations. If I try insta air dashing, then it's going to check my movement. Even as like Azrael here, it can kind of contest a lot of things. So kind of using that 5B to check. So then at that point, you're going to be able to get away with more of like insta air backdash Azeodyne and then just going into another Zeodyne. And then once you kind of react to their movement with a like forward moving 5B or just a general 5B. I play him more as a zoner, in all honesty. Kind of doing this jazz and just focusing on like checking it there. If I'm close enough to be at like this range, you kind of could go for more stuff, or like going like for a forward 5A. So he kind of like alternates between like this type of style and then going to outside of poke range, and then just using his good normals there. He can also kind of contest a little bit with on the ground game by being in the air a ton, just because of how great the downward hitbox of this move is. That's generally how I play neutral with him. It's kind of it's hard to kind of describe neutral with him outside of those methods. You can kind of see more in gameplay if I ever upload any. Or just generally what other people have been kind of rolling with it. I'll try to get some games into some good games to upload, but we'll see how that goes. That's how I would approach neutral, in all honesty. So something I didn't really mention on pressure was using like this type of situation, where if you can kind of reset using the 2A like whiff there to kind of bait mashing. Which is really good, because the entire time as well, if I'm mashing, it's like you just hit confirm it. You just time it, you delay it a little bit less than what I have in the recording there. You also, during all that, have the potential just to throw a reset. Go for like a throw combo. A throw combo like here. Yeah. So that's generally how I've been playing Adachi. I know a lot have been there's been a lot of talk about teams. I really don't give a fuck, in all honesty. I have this team, which sets up dumb shit like this, because I'm just going to be playing Azrael. As well as situations like this here, where if I sum to block all and I have him mashing, there's a small gap here that Azrael is plus in. I guess I'm not sure exactly how you want to build teams with him. So, but I will show you his assists as well. His assists are good for Azrael. So 5P here does a little launch. It forces like a bounce of sorts, so you're able to pick up from it. It's also 2 parts, so it's good on block. 6P here is it has kind of poorer tracking, but it kind of forces a lot of situations with like a forward moves like this. With an OTG, you're able to get routes, which is really cool. And then he has an anti-air with his Heat Riser animation, which is really good. He can combo into himself with it. So if you really need to get your partner out. Yeah. This team has some good sauce with it, using stuff like setting up for unblocked situations like here, thanks to that, as well as mentioned Gustav, and then you get a sandwich here, as well as having backdash 4P, and so on. But yeah, overall that's how I've been playing Adachi Azrael. Try out some teams, don't ask me shit about other teams, I don't know. You can bother the BBTAG Reddit Discord channel about that. Yeah.